Yeah, that definitely has a lot of power. Hey guys, we're here with the 2023 Lincoln Aviator Grand Touring Black Label. You can see it's plugged in right now. It is completely stands down on its air suspension in this kind of like enter-exit mode. This is a $92,000 beast right here. I'm gonna unplug it. Battery pack, decent amount of range. I've heard 18 to 20 miles. And I'm gonna take this thing on a little bit of a drive. Really nice color on this thing. It's this kind of really deep metallic blue. These black labels are the top of the line of the Aviators. It's still a gorgeous looking vehicle. Exclusive wheels for this Grand Touring trim as well. Really nice interior. Let me just show you the back. So this is the flight theme interior, which means you have this really nice turned tan leather with this contrasting tan stitching, with the Revel Ultima audio system. There was gigantic metal speaker grills, huge panoramic glass roof, captain's chairs in the center row that are heated and ventilated, which is really nice. We also have a third row, which is easily accessible. I wouldn't say it's the biggest thing on the planet. We can hear this sticker if you guys want to see that real quick. $92,000. Wow, that's insane for this car. It's a lot of money. But you are getting a lot of car, though. It's a little bit in need of a big update. Soft closed doors. Oh. Love that feature. Now let's hop inside. This is cool. Most Ford and Lincoln products have that. And just check out this interior. I was at the unveiling of this thing back in 2018 on the auto show, and it was just a gorgeous first look at it. Really nice, perfect position seats. I believe they're like almost 30 ways. Heated, cooled, massaged, top and side. It's really well insulated in here as well. Again, soft closed doors. Oh, love that feature. And here you're kind of greeted to this gorgeous cabin. Seatbelt on. This nice glowing and pulsing start-stop button. And the whole car comes to life. Now, since this is a Grand Touring, that means it's a plug-in hybrid, so it's going to start in electric mode. You do have drive mode selectors here, but let's just take a quick look at this interior. It's really, really nice. You have this dark engine-turned aluminum trim. It's beautiful trim. You can feel how cold it is to the touch. It is solid metal. That's carried over on the dash. You have this really nice extended leather on the black label trim. So we have these really gorgeous seats with the piping around it. Huge leather center armrest. We have a micro suede kind of Alcantara headliner in black on this one, which is really nice. Feels very premium in here. This upper material actually is not leather, but it's a very nice soft touch material with stitching. It would be nice if this was leather, and that also goes with the dash as well. The Revel audio speakers look really nice, and they feel gorgeous as they're aluminum. Everything else in here has been pretty much the same for the past few years now, over 4 years now, where this thing's really in need of a facelift. It hasn't even really gotten one yet. Still has the smaller style, like 10-inch screen. There is a much bigger one Lincoln's using now in their other vehicles. We're still waiting on the update for that. This center digital cluster here, it's like 12.3-ish inches. Not very configurable, but it is there. But the heads-up display, I have to say, is pretty nice. These pixel LED headlights are actually fantastic, though, really bright. All the controls in here are pretty much, you know, they're okay. Some things can be a little plasticky, but otherwise it's pretty nice. Big center console down there. Love the ambient lighting in here. You can change the colors, of course, but it looks nice at night. Nice glow all around you. You have this big storage space down here with a floating center console. It's sturdy enough. This touchscreen is a little bit on the older, slower-ish side. The Lincoln's interface itself is a little clumsy. You do have this button here, which all your seat controls. You also have even more seat controls in the center console with massaging. You can control your passenger seat as well, which is pretty cool. And Apple CarPlay, of course, is in here. Decent amount of charging stuff. Piano key style shifters. I do like this steering wheel, though. My only one gripe is that they put this voice control button in the worst possible place, and it's kind of cheap feeling as well. Nonetheless, let's head out on this drive. I guess we'll start off in the plug-in hybrid mode. If we press our drive mode selector here, we can see normal, slippery, deep conditions. And if I go to the left, we have EV, preserve EV, sport mode, kind of excite, as well as conserve, and normal. So there are a lot of drive modes. Let's hop out of here in EV mode, because combined we have almost 500 horsepower and 630 pound-feet of torque, though in EV mode I think it's only 100 horsepower of that electric motor. Let's head out here. A little bit bright today. I'm going to put down our shade. And just to note that these visors are also nicely padded in that same nice Alcantara style material, which is really nice. And just gliding across the road here, it's very smooth. You do feel like you are in that quiet flight experience. You're gliding across the road. And that's one of the nice parts with this Aviator. Even the turn signals have this nice softness to it. And we are traveling right now in EV mode, so it's even more quiet. Now, I will say that how this electric or plug-in hybrid powertrain setup is similar to the Mazda CX-90 I just drove, where everything's sandwiched kind of together with the gearbox. It's a rear-wheel drive longitudinal powertrain. So you have the engine, electric motor, gearbox, you have 10-speed automatic gearbox, and then from there it's sending power to the rear wheels, the front wheels afterwards. So in EV mode, as I just was decelerating there, I did feel a little bit of like some shifts going on, which is interesting. I'm going to pop it now into, let's put it into normal mode, see how that driving experience is. And the GPS is telling me to go a different way. Let's hop out this way. Now, this may be a kind of a rear-wheel drive based longitudinal architecture that's shared with the Ford Explorer, though I wouldn't call it a sporty platform, even though it has a lot of power. It surely has the power. I wouldn't necessarily call it like a dynamic sporty platform. There's a lot of body roll and pitch and dive I've noticed as well. I think that's just how it's supposed to be, though. It's supposed to be this quiet, comfortable, luxurious riding experience, really, versus like a dynamic vehicle. And I think that's what Lincoln's been doing best these days. And I think a lot of manufacturers have kind of gone away from that. They've kind of tuned their vehicles to be more dynamic and sporty, and you're losing a lot of that luxuriousness, that floaty ride that older luxury cars used to have. And Lincoln's still doing it, and people do still appreciate that. Other buttons, for example, the cruise control, more buttons illuminate down here, which is pretty cool. Same thing with the steering. It's light, kind of devoid of any feel of the wheels, which some people may want in this type of vehicle, but it can be unsettling for some other people. I'm going to pop it into Excite, so that should unlock all of the power that we have here. Throttle gets a little more touchy. The engine's going to be always on. You get your tach now, as well as your speedometer in the digital dash. Oh wow, yeah, that definitely has a lot of power. You're not missing on power in this Aviator. But I have to say, though, and this is an interesting thing, this Grand Touring plug-in hybrid model adds a lot more weight because you now have a battery pack, the electric motors, the charging infrastructure within the vehicle architecture, and that's adding a lot of weight. So sure, you're getting around like 100 horsepower more than the regular Aviator, which is just a twin turbo V6 that gets around 400 horsepower. It still feels pretty much around the same as that one. You do feel a little bit quicker off the line with that electric instant torque, but generally it feels pretty similar to the regular Aviator. Of course, though, you do have that ability to drive it in pure electric mode, and again, the electric torque's coming in to kind of kick you off the line. But it's just an interesting food for thought if you are considering this type of vehicle. You do have paddle shifters here, which are unfortunately really cheap plastic. I don't like that. Otherwise, you know, most of the touch points in here are okay. Out here on the highway, cruising, it's pretty quiet in here. You do feel pretty like devoid of anything happening around you outside, which is nice. I think that's a good thing to have in this type of vehicle, especially for this price point. We have acoustic laminated glass. We do have an adaptive suspension in the sense that it scans the road, that kind of like level out things and kind of tries its best to cancel out harsher bumps or potholes it can find, which is cool. And of course, it does come with all of those nice safety systems and cruise controls, but what it doesn't have yet is Ford's and Lincoln's BlueCruise. That hopefully will be coming on the facelifted model soon. Though for now, we just have a radar adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist, so I can activate by pressing that button there on the steering wheel. I'm going to pop it out of Excite mode just for now. Pop it back into, let's do normal. And let's see if we're gonna do this adaptive cruise control system. So now we can access these buttons down here and set our speed, change our speed pretty easily with these buttons. I actually like this little dial down here. This is something unique. You can also adjust your following distance down here as well as you can turn on and off your steering assist and lane keep assist, which is a nice function. And it works pretty well. Now, of course, on the Navigator and the Corsair as of this filming, you can get the BlueCruise system, and essentially you have a camera here, and on a selected precursor of roads, you are legally allowed to actually take your hands off the road, which is kind of cool. It works well, shockingly, though I'm personally not the biggest fan of those types of systems. I think this is more than enough. You should always keep your hands on the wheel, of course, at all times. And straight line highway cruising is this thing's main kind of forte, even including with power too. Like getting around twisties and corners and dynamics, sure, it can do it a little bit, but it's not gonna feel incredible. Lincoln does offer like a dynamic handling package on some other lower trims as well, which includes like the air suspension and some more adaptive stuff. But again, it's dynamic within the realm of like a luxurious cruising vehicle, so it's still pretty comfortable and soft around the edges most of the time. And as a black label model, I might as well point out a lot of the cool features you can get as a black label, and there are quite a lot. So black label models get, of course, unique grille, those unique wheels, unique black badging. You can only get these interior themes on black label models as well, and you do get some benefits as owners, like complimentary pickup and delivery services for your maintenance. I think a pretty long free, I believe, maintenance schedule. There are some other cool things like kind of restaurant perks and luxurious travel and hotel perks as well with your kind of Lincoln rewards. I believe there's a system with that. So some nice benefits to it. The main thing though you're really getting with it is kind of the tailor-made experience. You can actually I wouldn't say hand build, but custom build pretty much any Lincoln, though you do have a little bit more of a customizability with these black label models, with these interior themes, exterior colors. You get more of a higher end experience there. Treat it as a higher end customer, which you should be for a vehicle that's $90,000. Yeah, it's just, this powertrain isn't super refined. Again, power is there. It's a little rough around the edges sometimes. I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect between the electric motor and that power, the engine sometimes. I'm gonna pop it back into Excite mode. I'm curious to see if the I know the suspension lowers in Excite mode for a little bit more of a handling poise. But I'm curious to see if it stiffens up enough versus the conserve mode. You definitely notice that the throttle is a little bit more on edge in Excite mode. That twin turbo V6 makes a really nice sound too. Oh wow, yeah, Excite mode is definitely going to be your performance-y style mode if you want a little bit more of an aggressive driving experience. It actually feels a little bit more at home in Excite mode than in conserve mode or normal mode. Now I feel a little more of a connection actually between the whole powertrain. I like that. That's nicer. Again, not a dynamic vehicle, but interesting to see how different the car behaves in these different modes. I'm not even going to attempt to use EV mode because with 100 horsepower, this thing's really heavy. You really don't have any acceleration. And it's interesting to know actually that this is a pretty weak electric powertrain and this kind of modern day application with these plug-in hybrids. I was just out of the CX-90 from Mazda, plug-in hybrid, not competitors, I would really say, with this vehicle, but it's a similar size vehicle in terms of the passengers, 7 to 8 passenger, long, big SUV, rear-wheel drive, longitudinal powertrain. That one has a 4-cylinder with the plug-in hybrid system, though that electric motor made, I think, 80 to 90 more horsepower than this one does, which is interesting. So I wonder if Lincoln's going to increase the either battery pack or electric motor output in the facelift version of this. Off the bat, around these corners a little bit as well, some soft bends, it does feel a little bit stiffer, a little more dynamic. The steering feels a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit twitchier. It's stiffened up a little bit. Still no feel whatsoever, but it does feel a little bit more dynamic. So there is some versatility to this platform and the Aviator, which is nice. But it's nothing, again, it's still in the realm with that like quiet flight luxury experience. So it's nothing too sporty or dynamic. I do like the sound of this V6 though. It's a nice growl to it. But again, you can get all of that in a regular Aviator as well, which starts around the $55,000 range, and it can get up there with options. So I would definitely look at that if you're interested in an Aviator. I'm going to shut up for a little bit, guys. But nonetheless, thank you for joining me on this quick drive and a little bit of a tour of the Lincoln Aviator Grand Touring plug-in hybrid. I'm very curious to see what they fix for the facelifted version, but for now, let's enjoy a little bit of this drive. And as always, stay tuned for more on Allcarnews.